Millions of years ago, in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, a submerged volcano erupted. Hundreds of limestone islands were created. The main island of Bermuda is an exquisite masterpiece of natural beauty. The following program has been made possible by a grant from the Bermuda Department of Tourism. Beautiful Bermuda. The famous American author Mark Twain, who loved to travel to Bermuda, once said, "You can have heaven, I'll take Bermuda." Hi, I'm Rita Gam. Everyone knows about the Bermuda Triangle, but did you know that Bermuda is at the very top of the triangle, about 600 miles from North Carolina? So let's go and explore this tiny, unique island, and we'll discover together beautiful Bermuda. When you travel by plane from the east coast of the United States, Bermuda is only about 2 hours away. Let's discover the beauty of Bermuda, its abundant flowers, exotic gardens, rare birds, sherbet-colored houses, brilliant limestone roofs, and the most beautiful and pristine pink beaches. Let's meet its people, proud, friendly, expressive. A sculptor, artists, dancers, great photographers, and a writer of ghost stories.
It was a heavy door and there was no wind that night, and she just kept hearing it being slammed like that. And she opened it up and went back to bed, and sure enough, the door slammed again.
Bermuda abounds with tales of pirates and ghosts. Writer John Cox recalls the mystery of his centuries-old family home.
She came out, she opened it again, and same thing again. It kept being slammed. So she and her husband decided to put earplugs in, and they finally had a good night's sleep. The next morning they told me about it, and we came down, and the whole room had a smell of incense, which was very curious. We've never had that experience again. Her name was Mary, and apparently she is the ghost here. It's funny, we had an architectural tour come through a few years ago, and one of the people on the tour took me aside and said, "You have a ghost here." And I said, "Well, yes, we do. Did you read about it?" And she said, No, I've talked to her. It's a young woman who says her name is Mary." I tell you, the shivers ran up my spine when I heard that. I said, "Well, what did she tell you?" And she said, "Well, she didn't tell me very much, but she seemed perplexed because she said that her husband was away and that she was distressed that he wasn't around." The room at the top of the stairs, which apparently was the room that Captain William Cox and his wife shared, really used to get pretty lively on several nights. I mean, it would always start by being shaken awake, and then there'd be the footsteps going back and forth across the room, and then sort of eerie lights passing by the door. Anyway, my parents sort of felt that I was prone to flights of fancy, and they didn't take it very seriously. Anyway, I moved out of the room. I didn't stay there. Lack of sleep, I think.
Bermuda's renowned photographers capture the beauty of the island in their own distinctive way.
I definitely shoot with one thing in mind, which is grabbing the great moments or the great scenes that I know exist here. And sometimes you have to be either up early or waiting around the sunset time. Sometimes you have to be lucky and be in the right place, but you have to have your camera, so it's not all luck. remember all these things about different times of the year in Bermuda, and then that when you're out shooting, sometimes I wait all year just for another part of the year to come, just for October to come.
And Bermuda's photographer, Charles Anderson.
The light in Bermuda is spectacular because of that. There is no smog, essentially, and it produces a clarity of light that's just superb. It accentuates the greens and the yellows in nature, and it's beautiful. And again, the shadows are just, inimitable. You just have to get right in there and look at it. It's just wonderful stuff. There's so much texture, there's so much life and movement as well. There's patterns to be seen everywhere. Beautiful things deserve to be recorded.
Governor, the Premier, and all the high officials of government are in attendance. On a windy day at Fort St. Catherine, we met and talked with Bermuda's Premier.
I think Bermuda's special because it is special, and it's difficult to describe it, even to look at photographs, because among its most unique attributes are its people, their friendliness, their warm and loving nature, and the unique experience that develops between the Bermudian and the visitor that they meet. Many Bermudians have relationships that have extended over generations, in fact, based on a taxi ride. That's how Bermudians are. They take people to their heart. I love them. The impact and the motivation that Bermuda is engendering in today's artists, now you are seeing quite exciting different angles and different takes, as different and unique as the artists are.
What I do, I make 20 angels a day, every day of my life. I get up in the morning, I make 20 angels to build up my stock for Trimming and Brothers. So they just fly away as far as Australia, Singapore. I even have a little angel in Borneo, believe it or not. I see beauty in so many ways, which a lot of people will look at the beaches as beauty and look at the sky as beauty, and that's it. But for me, beauty is the beauty in the people of Bermuda, the beauty in our culture that we have, the way we carry ourselves. When we travel, you always know a Bermudian when they're traveling. I think a lot of my talent, which I've never been trained to do, a lot of my talent, I'm sure it's a heritage from the Indian, because of the Indians, how they live from the land. And I could actually live from the land and make all sorts of different ornaments and so on, which I've never been taught by anyone. And I guess it's just passed down. And about 4 years ago, I started to do my genealogy and started to go back and see where I'm from. And they always say it's St. David's Islanders wear Mohawks, and apparently we're not. We are Mohegans, which is the Pequot Indians from Connecticut. It's really rewarding finding out who you are after all these years, all these centuries. So it's really nice.
When you look at the surf, it feels like you've got the dance of the surf and stuff. And for a long time, I mean, I love the Impressionists. How could I not like Degas, for goodness sakes? And then you just passed off. And I love the people of Bermuda. I think that the people make the country, whatever the country. I've always wanted to paint the common man, as it were. The everydayness, the quiet moments, the the children, full of emotion. It's interesting that I came along at a time when there was very little black imagery about, so I was fortunate in as much as the work was so well received and they were hungry for it. Yeah, with the song in my heart. I mean, to have Pacelli on the tape and your pastels in front of you, what else do you want? That's enough. This is one of my students. The grandmother is one of my students. And she brought her granddaughter with her one day. And when I looked across, the grandchild had homework to do, and she went and put her arm around her grand and said, "Can you help me with this?" And I really just snapped the picture. I thought, that's the ticket. That's it. That's those memories that you want to have for a long, long time. That extended family can't beat it, you know. So I feel that in that sense I've come along at the right time to give something back to the community. That's really important as you get older, and I'm nearing 50. It's time to, you know, make something happen.
What you see in his face is a musician that is digging way deep down inside. And what you see is a musician who is painting improvisationally, playing improvisationally. And the very same way that I paint improvisationally. And so you'll see a musician that's playing with all of his heart and soul and is digging deep, like he's trying to find just the right note. And so that's the aspect of reality that I'm trying to communicate in my work.
Here come the Goombes, Bermuda's traditional dance and music troupe.
The Goombes are a group of dancers. As you can see, they are very colorfully dressed in the high hats with made with the peacock feathers and very gaily painted, and lots of fringing in their costumes and in their aprons and in their moccasins. Their capes. And on the backs of these capes, there is a tradition that is still carried out, that was carried out with many of the African kings of the past, in that they would put parts of their fathers and their grandfathers and great-grandfathers' memorabilia, and they would sew it into the capes. Maybe one of his wisdom teeth, maybe a part of a mirror that he had and that was broken, and a piece of that mirror would be adhered to the back of the cape. And along with all of the intricate embroidery, what you have is really a work of art in the cape. But for the Goombé dancer, it has tremendous significance. And a good Goombé dancer who knows his costume well should be able to explain and articulate his family lineage. I think it's all about being true to self and drawing from my culture and my cultural and my natural surroundings.
The word Gumbe comes from the African Bantu and means drum. Gumbe music and dance has its origins from various sources: African, Native American, West Indian, and even British military bands. Gumbes perform all year round in Bermuda. They can suddenly show up in the streets, on the piers, and in the hotels all across the island.
It's a gentleman here named Jhony. He gets here around 5:30 in the morning. Waves to everybody. Very nice gentleman. Here's a statue up here.
You may have noticed that I did a statue of Johnny Barnes, which is larger than life. And Johnny Barnes is a character here, like one of the best ambassadors we have, because he greets people in the morning. He starts at 5 a.m. and he's there greeting all the early morning traffic with an I love you, and making their day start out right. And Johnny Barnes was in here every morning after he finished his 5-hour stint, which finished at 10 o'clock in the morning. And he'd come in here and do his wave, and this little bit of cord up here is so that he could hang on to something, because his arms got a bit heavy after all that time. So I think that's the exciting moment, when the first bronze actually emerges finished. And then I just breathe a sigh of relief and think, wow, it's nice to have been able to do that.
As they chase the pack, as they go past us here down the home stretch, it is Tuxedo's Prince out in front with Ellie Time now trying to close back in the distance, but runs on the real estate. Tuxedo's Prince with Ellie Time.
As a child, I woke up every morning and saw the ocean. The ocean is my secret place, and being beneath the ocean. I love swimming underneath the ocean. When I was a child, I imagined that I was a mermaid, and I always thought that I would see Flipper coming along swimming next to me, and I just knew that Flipper was going to meet me at some point. And as I grew to be older, of course, I became a certified scuba diver, anything to be under the ocean. And if you love the ocean, there's no better place to be than in Bermuda, because under the sea is a world of its own. It has so much beauty, and it's silent. And I think, what a beautiful place Bermuda is, and what a beautiful world. And it's wonderful.
Powdery pink sand from the red coral. Beautiful Bermuda, just 2 short hours from the East Coast.
Despite having all these forts and all these cannons and all these armaments all the way around, in fact, only one shot was ever fired in semi-anger, and that's when a Spanish galleon was approaching Bermuda, and the people manning the fort realized they had one and only one cannonball. And the typical Bermudian question is, should that cannonball be used then, or should it be used perhaps when the ship was closer? And after much discussion, the cannonball was fired, and with good Bermudian luck, it managed to get very close to the Spanish galleon. And the Spanish captain, having seen the accuracy of Bermuda's gunners and the fact that they were ready to defend themselves, turned and left Bermuda, leaving a fort with no cannonballs left and totally open to attack. We can tell that story now. We didn't tell it in earlier days.
Here we are under a moon gate. It was brought from China to Bermuda in the 1920s by the Duke of Westminster. Everyone says it brings very good luck, particularly to newlyweds. Legend has it, when the bridegroom carries the bride through the gate, they're going to have a glorious life together, always. Really.
Richer for poor,
in sickness and in health,
in sickness and in health,
to love and to cherish,
to love and to cherish,
till death do us part.
Till death do us part.
Get that money, get that money, get that money, money. These 2 days are the only 2 days that's legalized gambling in Bermuda.
Every year a special event takes place, the Cup Match.
Welcome to Cup Match!
Cricket teams from opposite ends of Bermuda play to win the famous Championship Cup. Song and laughter, drink and food, chance and fun. A good time is had by all.
And I can't speak right now, but we will win. This is the Somerset lady here, and you notice the colors. Red and blue. Red and blue, that's the West End color.
Dancer choreographer teacher Suzette Harvey has a wonderful story to tell.
The beauty of dance. For me, it's something that I can't imagine not doing now. I mean, I do it every day of my life. It's part of my life. It is my life, you know. And I know I was born to dance. I love to dance and I love to choreograph, but nothing better than teaching. Second position on the hinge, make sure. And so I decided to come back to Bermuda to teach, just to give back a little bit to the community.
I need more juice, I need more juice. Elevate, long, yes. Ha, now start making, yes. Step up, feet up, feet up, feet up. Steady hands, 1, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. Make it fluid, soften it out, girls. Start. All right, everything Run and plie when you run. Run and plie, run, yes. Bob, breathe, yes. Bob, better breathe. Come on, come on, come on.
I think dance, I mean, it definitely has a lot of discipline to that, besides, you know, just jumping around. And I think there is discipline, and there are lots of rehearsals and lots of steps that you have to take, you know. And I always tell the kids, what would the world be without art, without artists? Because everyone's not made for business. I hope that we can just pass the torch. That's my main thing, is to pass the torch to younger Bermudians. It's a challenging job. It is. It's very challenging. But I love it. I enjoy it. And so that's what keeps me ticking.
Suzette Harvey dancers perform on New Year's Eve.
that a beauty? Ooh.
Beautiful Bermuda has been produced in association with Prairie Public Television. This program has been made possible by a grant from the Bermuda Department of Tourism.